So, I want to talk about love. And I know that some people are just exasperated as soon as they hear the subject of love, just because it's just so often discussed. But there's something that bothers me. It bothers me when people say, there are a few things that bother me. When people say they're in love with more than one person, or when people say, I just fell out of love. And I guess you can tell that I don't agree because of my facial expression, but I really believe that love is a commitment. And love should be like any other goal that you set. You commit to see it through. It should almost be like a contract that you decide to do it, and it is a commitment more than it's just an emotion. And it's a hybrid. I know that it's part emotion, but when you tap into the euphoric emotional aspect of love, it's much harder to commit to it for the long haul, because the act of loving, when it's hard to do, you're gonna face that challenge eventually, and that's gonna let you know if you can stand the test of time. And so I get frustrated when people love with emotion and don't love with action and don't love with commitment. That's a huge frustration for me. So what I will say is that I suggest, if you haven't read I think it's 5 Love Languages by, his name escapes me, might be Glenn Chapman. Chapman is his last name. I read it some time ago. There are different love languages. If you haven't read it, it's a Christian-based book, but these principles can be used whether you're Christian or not. And the whole idea is that we are to love people as they want to be loved versus how we would want to be loved. And so it questions that whole cliche, saying that do unto others as you want done unto you. Well, guess what? What you might want is not what someone else might want. So if I like tuna, and I really don't, I think it's disgusting. But if you love tuna and you get me an ahi tuna, whatever, steak, and you give it to me, I'm going to be upset because I don't like it. So I don't care how much your salmon costs. I don't care how much your lobster bisque costs. I don't really love seafood like that, so I wouldn't receive it the same. And you would be hurt because for you, this was a huge gift. And for me, it's just like, I don't want it. So you have to love people the way they want to be loved. And that means, I should get in the light. That means stepping outside of yourself and thinking of what that person would receive and feel loved with, and give them that. And see, if we spend our time serving each other the way the other person wants to be loved, then no one goes without, because you're looking out for me constantly and I'm looking out for you. So look up that book, The 5 Love Languages. Learn what your love language is. And you can apply this to your children. You could apply this to your romantic relationships. You can apply this to your friendships. But it's very good to equip yourself with the knowledge of how to love someone, because love often, ironically, comes from a selfish place where we think about how other people should treat us, and we never humble ourselves and say, hey, teach me how to love you. Some food for thought.